India has registered a magnificent win against Pakistan at the Narendra Modi Stadium. The men in blue thumped their arch rivals by 7 wickets. Rohit Sharma leading from the front with a flashy 86, and the win was set up by Indian bowlers, particularly by Jasprit Bumrah, who won the man of the match. So it's victory all the way for the men in blue. The Israel-Hamas war, and in what is perhaps the displacement of over 2 million Gaza residents, thousands have already fled amid the 24-hour ultimatum by Israel to evacuate the north of Gaza. And what is likely next is a full-blown ground incursion. In fact, Israel has already ramped up ground operations as far as Gaza is concerned. There are also reports now, extremely concerning, of several fleeing women and children being killed in Gaza in Israeli strikes. In fact, Israeli Air Force also carried out several targeted airstrikes, one of which also killed a top Hamas commander. So, well, Gaza is preparing for a full-blown incursion now, perhaps the deadliest escalation in the past decade.
After days of heavy build-up on the Gaza border, Israeli forces have started localized ground operations inside the Gaza Strip. The Israeli army said the raids are aimed at cleansing the area of terrorists and weaponry in addition to finding missing persons.
This area has now been fortified. There are bunkers, there are firing positions which are here, and this is just one of them. The expectation is that Israel might go all out and launch a ground assault, not only to wipe out Hamas but also to free the hostages who are being held there.
Inside Gaza, the humanitarian crisis keeps getting worse with continued Israel bombings. Large swaths of neighborhoods have been leveled by the non-stop bombings, magnifying the suffering of Gaza. Nearly 2,000 have died in Gaza in the week-long war. The casualties figure on the Israeli side now stands at 1,300. North Gaza residents are on the move in large groups towards the south after an Israeli ultimatum to evacuate as it prepared for massive ground assaults.
ايش ذنبهم هذول؟ ذنبهم انهم صامدين وقاعدين ببلدهم، لا ميه ولا كهرباء ولا دواء ولا علاج ولا اكل. طلع المخبز مسكر، ما فيش خبز ياكلوا، ما فيش خبز ياكلوا الاطفال.
While Hamas and several media reports allege that Israel also bombed the convoys of fleeing residents in the south after asking people to move, the Israeli army accused Hamas of trying to stop people from leaving.
We have seen a significant movement of Palestinian civilians towards the south, and that's all over the news. We have seen people listening to our warning, understanding that they are doing the clever thing, moving out of a dangerous area, and that they are doing the right thing for their family and their own safety. Extremely sad and worrying to see is the fact that Hamas actively undermines and has tried to stop Palestinian civilians from evacuating that area, both via messages and also checkpoints and stops on the ground.
The UN has also decried the Israeli ultimatum for the Gazans to flee, saying that it will lead to an unimaginable catastrophe, and it urged Israel to reverse the unprecedented directive. And the enclave is running out of food, fuel, medicines and water. Over 1 million people live in North Gaza, and they are literally caught between the devil and the deep sea, as only escape route, the Rafah crossing on Egypt border, remains closed. Even 8 trucks are awaiting access through the Rafah crossing. Several countries and the UN have called for the opening of the crossing to let in humanitarian aid to the Gaza enclave. Reports say that the US is also in talks with the Egyptian authorities on the opening of the Rafah crossing.
It's also a priority for me to urgently address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. At my direction, our teams are working in the region, including communicating directly with the governments of Israel, Egypt, Jordan, and other Arab nations and the United Nations to surge support and humanitarian consequences for Hamas attack to help Israel. You know, we can't lose sight of the fact that the overwhelming majority of Palestinians had nothing to do with Hamas and Hamas's appalling attacks, and they're suffering as a result as well.
U.S. Secretary of State is also on a West Asia tour, meeting leaders in the region, including rulers of Jordan, Qatar and Saudi, to discuss the Israel-Gaza war. Russian president has also said that a permanent solution can only be achieved with the creation of an independent Palestinian state.
Мы исходим из безальтернативности решения палестино-израильского конфликта путем переговоров. Их целью должна стать реализация ООНовской формулы двух государств, предполагающая создание независимого палестинского государства со столицей в Восточном Иерусалиме, сосуществующим в мире и безопасности с Израилем, который, безусловно, мы тоже видим же это, подвергся беспрецедентной по своей жестокости атаки. И, конечно, имеет право на защиту.
In 1 week, the war has seen catastrophic damage and loss of lives with little hope for a resolution anytime soon. Bureau Report, NDTV.
So Gaza residents fleeing, many reports of them being killed as well in strikes. The situation on the ground extremely concerning before a possible ground incursion. But NDTV is reporting from the front lines. In fact, NDTV's Umashankar Singh and Kadambini Sharma have reached what is perhaps a very sensitive site as far as the whole conflict is concerned, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Why is it a key factor, and why did Hamas actually called its attack on Israel the Al-Aqsa operation? Kadambini Sharma has more details.
This is the old city of Jerusalem, and right behind me is Temple Mount. You can see Al-Aqsa Mosque and Dome of the Rocks. Now this is the place which has a huge significance, not only in a religious manner but also in the geopolitics of the entire region. Why is it so? Muslims believe that this place is the third holiest place as written in the books, the holy books. They believe that Prophet Muhammad came from Mecca to this place, to Al-Aqsa Mosque, and ascended from here to heaven. And they come here, they pray here. This is the third most holiest site of Islam. On the other hand, Jews believe that their ancient temples, first and second temple, was here, and they consider it the holiest of the holy. Some Jews also believe that there is still a presence of divine here. So holy that those who are ultra religious believe that it should not be stepped on, that the humans shouldn't go inside and pray. So this is a place which holds huge value for both of them, and Christianity as well. But at the moment we'll talk about Islam and Judaism, because of which the situation here, the conflict here is happening. When Hamas attacked Israel last Saturday, it declared the operation as Al-Aqsa Flood. The significance of it is that they believe that it has been, in a way, being taken over by Jews, and more every day it is being taken over, and one day they would have no control. That is the basic fear which they have. Now, what has happened is that in the past, when in 1967 old city was taken over by Israel, this place, this mosque was actually given over to the Waqf, which is aligned with Jordan. So this is the only place which officially Israel does not have administration over, and this is administered by the Waqf. But the security around this place is done by Israeli police. So this is one factor here. In 2000, Ariel Sharon and his Likud party members came here, and there was an announcement. They came here, they prayed, which is actually not allowed. Even a small action like this can actually flare up tensions here. So the effort usually is not to allow anything which might actually create any sort of tension. But in 2000, with 1,000 guards, Ariel Sharon came here and he announced that there might be taking over this place, and there might be more building here, more construction. Violence broke out, and many people were killed on both the sides. But this has not stopped there. It has been happening again and again. This sort of skirmish happened here in 2021, and most recently in April 2023. Now what happened was, there were the mosque goers came here, and some tension broke out. There was some stone pelting, and then the police walked in. There was a skirmish. Police said, the Israeli police said, that the stones were thrown on them, and those people who were inside the mosque, they barricaded themselves inside the mosque, and they also found some sort of explosives inside, some sort of stuff which would hurt them. So this happened here in 2023 April. So this whole situation has given rise to a feeling amongst Palestinians that they are going to lose this place, one of the most holiest places of Islam, and that is the significance of this place, because of which Al-Aqsa is seen at the center of many conflicts, many decisions which are happening.
So NDTV on the front lines of the war, and now the deadlines for Palestinians to evacuate Gaza has also passed. We'll take a short break now. There's more news on the other side. Welcome back. Our big focus continues to be on the Israel-Hamas war, and NDTV spoke to Amit Musai, who survived the Hamas attack and was at the Israel Music Festival. He narrates the horror of that night. Take a look.
Amit, thank you again for speaking to us, and I can understand this is a very traumatic time for you. I'm sorry to make you recount, your experience, but it's important for us to know, if you can tell us what happened that day.
So the day of the party, we've been there since the night between Friday and Saturday morning. We've been dancing to beautiful beats. We celebrated life, love, in a very beautiful, peaceful festival. Everybody was very happy, extremely happy, I would say. Even though we're very close to the Gaza border, we felt secured because there was so many security around us. And suddenly at 6:30 a.m., while the sun didn't even rise yet, we realized music stopped and missiles are in the air, and the security told us to bend over, to lie on the ground, to cover our heads, and we realized we are under attack. Everybody were extremely puzzled. No one really knew what to do besides of what we're regular to do. Unfortunately, here in Israel, we've been regular to missile attacks. I'm living in the coastal plains of Israel, and although I'm quite away from Gaza, I'm about 60 kilometers away from the Gaza Strip, still the missiles are hitting my area as well from time to time when the Gazans are doing so. And I'm emphasizing the Gazans, and I'm not emphasizing Hamas. Hamas basically is like ISIS. It's a terror organization, and everybody should remember their brutality. Anyways, we've ran to our car. It took a while. Even the car didn't even started yet. I've managed to use my tour guide skills and to escape the terror. Me and 3 other friends, we've jumped into my vehicle. We've made our way back to the road, and we started to run for our life. We actually didn't realize this is a run for life. We thought we were just escaping missiles, and we're trying to find a protected area, possibly a safe room, a concrete wall, anything that we can hide below. We didn't know. We only learned later that the festival people had been gunned down from blank position, from face to face. They had nothing to defend themselves, and the unfortunate results we all know today. It took me a while to learn that, because I was focused on the escape and also focused on trying to learn what happened to my dear friends. Adir and Shiraz Tamam and the friends that was with them in the car, Celine, they were all murdered most likely by the terrorist. We only have evidence of Adir being killed. We found his body recently and he was buried yesterday. It was terrible. To bury your best friend is nothing that you can prepare for. The wife had not been located yet. We have no faith, unfortunately. Most likely she died as well. And they left behind 10 years old and 7 years old daughters. My request for you guys in India and anyone else that see this broadcast, please help this poor family, as we need to support the daughters of my friends. There is a GoFundMe. So GoFundMe 283-69701. Please contribute as much as you can to help this family. Celine, another person that was in the car, is still missing. We don't know what happened to her. She was still breastfeeding her 6-month-old, and we're looking for some good news look forward. I can't assure anything because every day we get bad news and funeral after funeral, and we are already a week after this terror attack had started. My hopes is this would not be happening again. In Israel, we always say never again. We learned it from the history. We are a nation that exists for more than 3,000 years. A nation that rised and fell, and this is what we call the third house, the third temple. As we've built our society, the state of Israel, in the same time India received its independency, we got our independency. Our fortune is so similar, fighting with haters.
So what an absolutely heart-rending account there. It's ultimately innocent civilians who are the worst hit. But moving now to the big political headline back home. Well, DMK hosted the women leaders of the India bloc. Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, amid others, attended the meeting in Chennai. And their demand was to get the women's quota bill implemented immediately. Listen to what Sonia Gandhi had to say.
I am confident that we, the like-minded parties of the India Alliance, can and will take urgent steps needed to make women's equality a reality. This is our goal. This will be the India Alliance goal, and this is what we women must fight for. If we fight for all together, we shall be victorious.
So the women's reservation bill taking centre stage in a crucial election year. That's all the time that we have on this bulletin. From all of us here. Goodbye.